Tribal issues and emergency management. As of March 2020, there are more than 6.7 million Native Americans living throughout the U.S., 22% of which live on reservations. There are currently 574 federally recognized tribes. Just because a tribe is recognized by the federal government doesn't mean it's necessarily recognized by the state, and vice versa. The largest tribes are the Navajo, Cherokee, Sioux, and Chippewa. Law enforcement on and off the res. Because most tribal nations are located in rural and isolated locations, their law enforcement is often the only authority and emergency responders for both the tribal and non-tribal communities in the area. In one area of the U.S., the Indian country, there are over 200 police departments. Having only 2 or 3 officers isn't uncommon in some of these agencies. 1.3 officers per 1,000 citizens, whereas in non-Indian communities with populations over 10,000, there's an estimated 2.9 officers per 1,000. The Indian Self-Determination and Education Assistance Act of 1975 allowed federal agencies to enter into contracts with and federally recognize Indian tribes. This act gave the tribes the authority to determine how to administer the funds. Understaffing and lack of funding are often prevalent and cause greater challenges when it comes to emergency management. Tribal nations and emergency management. The Stafford Act was amended to include a clause that allowed tribes to request a presidential emergency or major disaster declaration independent of a state. In 2015, the Oglala Sioux Tribe and FEMA celebrated the first federal and tribal MOA. Roadblocks still prevent resources from being sent to Indian country, but the NCAI works with these tribal communities to help bypass those. In 2019, they passed a resolution calling on FEMA to consult with national tribes and work on amending these blocks. There are different resources for tribes. The ITEMA, which is a national tribal association created for the Indian country. The ITEMEC, which is basically the same thing as ITEMA but for Oklahoma. There are specific guides to help tribal communities recover from disasters and emergencies. There are also particular trainings for tribal representatives. There are grants. The Ready Indian Country provides preparedness resources for tribal communities that are tailored and designed for Indian country and many geographic regions. Domestic violence and drug addiction are quite prevalent on reservations, so resources such as the CDP trains emergency responders in 10 different disciplines like law enforcement, healthcare, and hazardous materials. They also provide different trainings that are completely covered by DHS and FEMA so that local, state, and tribal responders can go and get more resources. There are also have been different successes for Indian country emergency management, such as in 2010, ITURC was formed. This was created by Nevada Tribal Emergency Managers, Tribal State Environmental Liaisons, Indian Health Board of Nevada, and the Intertribal Council of Nevada. The purpose was to increase the tribal emergency management involvement. In 2016, the EMI provided 55 tribal courses to 763 tribal attendees and 94 other constituents. In 2016, the CDP also provided trainings to 157 tribal emergency responders from 46 different tribal nations. In July 2020, Cassandra Darrow, tribal council member who has linked her ancestry to the Walker River Paiute tribe, was named Nevada's Tribal Emergency Response Coordinator. And these are my sources. Thank you.